Hi, and welcome to this demonstration of PowerQuery. So first of all, we ask ourselves, what is the purpose of PowerQuery? Well, one of the purposes is to automate the transformation of datasets from dirty data to useful, clean data. So let's clarify the difference between these two. Clean data is datasets which are columnar and can be easily interrogated in analytical tools such as static formula tables, so maybe using sums or sum ifs or count ifs, pivot tables, pivot charts, Power Pivot or Power BI without further need for transformation. Now, dirty data, on the other hand, are datasets which require changing before they can be interrogated in analytical tools, and this tends to cause us quite a lot of time in finance teams. So transformation could be as simple as removing a column or two, to merging or appending, unpivoting, and more. So let's have a look at our example. So we've got a set of payroll data here. Now this data set should tell us how much our employees each earn by pay components, so tax and pensions, net salary, and so on. So nothing massive, as we want to keep things simple for our demonstration. This is a good example of some dirty data, and by that I mean we can't just pop this data into a pivot table and analyse it straight away. So why not? Well, let's have a look at the issues. The top row, well, we don't need that because we probably don't need to know who ran the payroll report. The second row, on the other hand, we want that in our table to tell us which month's payroll we're analysing. So instead of having an own little separate table at the top, we want to include that in our table underneath. We've got a line missing here for the days of hire, and for the purposes of this video, we're going to assume that it should be the same as the line above. Now the main problem is over here, where we've got payroll components and their values all in a single line for each person, and that is hopeless for a pivot table. And we want to split this information into two columns, one column for the payroll component and another for the payroll value. And we also want to create a new row for each payroll component. So basically, we want it to look something like this. Now, with not many employees and doing this manually, it would probably take about 10 to 15 minutes every time you got this report in. With more employees, more time. So let's see it in PowerQuery, and for that I need a new Excel workbook. Okay, so stage one, I need to attach our new Excel file to the payroll dataset we were just looking at. So to do that, I'll go to Data, and then to Get Data, and then just choose from the list of options the one that I want. In stage 2, we're then in the PowerQuery editor. So connecting to a file or a folder or a dataset brings us into the PowerQuery editor. And here we can do our transforming of the file that we attach to. Now we can use the buttons that we've got on the ribbon at the top of the screen to create different transformation effects, and then PowerQuery then on the right hand side of the screen records those effects. So at the moment, what we can see in the preview screen, that's this big section right in the middle, we can see the file that we just left, the March payroll data. If I then go down to right to the bottom of all the transformation steps, we can see the transformed file, what we're going to have when we load this data back into Excel. So if I then click to close and load, we can go into stage 3, closing and loading. So there we go. Now I've closed and loaded the PowerQuery editor. I've got my table of my transformed payroll data just in a nice table in Excel. And of course I could then go on to stage 4, which would be analysing the information that I've now got in a nice, neat table. I could turn it into a pivot table. I could just use some functions to create a static table, do what I needed to do to either analyse the data or maybe create a journal from it, depending on what we needed to do. After that though, we then go on to stage 5. So doing all this cleaning and transforming probably is slightly faster than having to do it in just doing it manually in Excel. But of course the next month we're going to have to do it all over again because we'll get some new payroll data in. But what we can actually do is we can get the payroll data from the following month, save it in the same place that we've saved the March payroll data, the data that we connected to in this Excel workbook, and then just click refresh and it will do all the same cleaning and transforming again. So let's do that. Okay, so what I did off screen was just connect two new payroll files, April and May, into the same folder that the March payroll file was in. And now all I need to do is just click Data and then click Refresh. . And now we can see if I scroll down the side, we've got March, April and May all in the data table. No connecting, no transforming, no loading. Just refresh and you're done.